some music just hits you right at home. Hey, you're listening to the Republic of Texas radio show. I'm Steve OBrien, and I'm going to start this off by crying out fair use, because fair use is very important. As the Doobie Brothers were telling you that, how do I put this? The Doobie Brothers want to come on and tell us to listen to the music. And, well, that it might be true. I think of that as an analogy, right, or a model or a framework for discussions. Some are happy and some are sad. And, that's going to happen all around you. I've had a long week. It's been a lot of happy, a lot of sad, and I don't know what's going on. One thing I do disagree with the Doobie Brothers on is you don't just have to listen to the music. You can make your own music. Hey, call in, make your own music. 1-800-313-9443. I kind of scratched the board today as far as any guests. I had a couple guests lined up, and we were going to do some things and stuff, but I decided to sit here and talk to you about some of the things that are going on today and right now. We will cover, all the Republic of Texas news. There is news that's going on. We'll cover a little bit about the Texas Nationals and their push to getting the petition on the ballot. We'll talk a little bit about who the Republic of Texas is. We're going to talk a little bit about copyright, too, because that's very important. And no matter how you look at it, that affects the Republic of Texas. That affects the corporate state of Texas, because we're all beholden to the statutory law systems because they got the guns and they made the rules. So here's the deal. Last week I told you that copyright came from this chick named Mary, right? And I'm going to go into this a little bit. And I found a neat little article, and I'm going to try to read it to you, and we'll see how my reading goes this morning. And this guy's name is Rick Falkvine, right? And he's out of Sweden, and he's the founder of the Pirate Party. Now, the Pirate Party over there is kind of against copyrights. I'd like to know what you think about copyrights, and, should we continue to have copyrights? Is that a good thing? Governmental protections on intellectual property? I don't know. I've been dealing with that in my head for a long time. Most of the stuff I create is done under Creative Commons, and I kind of say, well, man, just get it out there, right? Well, I'm not a huge for-profit type of person, but let's get to the story of Bloody Mary. So here's the deal. Let me just read it. The King Henry my Roman numerals are really bad. The 13th wanted a son to inherit the throne of England for the Tudor dynasty, but his marriage was a disappointment. His wife, Catherine, only bore him a daughter, and worse, the Pope wouldn't let him divorce him. Wow, that must have sucked for him. Yeah, oh well, here's what he did. Henry's solution was quite drastic, effective, and novel. He converted all of England into Protestantism, founding the Church of England in order to deny the Pope any influence. That's what we call shenanigans in the real world, but they just call it, they can do it. They just do it. Henry then had his marriage with Catherine declared void on May 23rd, 1533, and he went on to marry several other women. He finally had a second daughter with his second wife, and finally a son with his third wife. And unlike the bastard child Mary, her young half-siblings, Elizabeth and Edwards, were Protestants. Well, Edward succeeded Henry the 13th on the throne in 1547 at the age of 9, but he died before becoming an adult. So Mary got the line, man. So Mary's in, and, she was kind of pissed, right? Her dad had divorced her mom, changed, she was Catholic and all that stuff. And this isn't him talking. That's just me paraphrasing all this stuff. And so she hadn't spoken to his dad, and, she got really pissed. let's listen to the writing again. She had not spoken to her father for years and years. Rather, hers was a mission to undo her father's wrongdoing to her faith, to England, and to her mother, and to turn England back into Catholicism. She persecuted the Protestants relentlessly, publicly executing several hundred, earning her the name Bloody Mary. It sounds like it fits. She shared the concern of the Catholic Church over the printing press. The ability to quickly distribute information en masse was dangerous to her ambitions to restore Catholicism. In particular, their ability to distribute heretical material, political material in this day and age, was not distinguishable from religious material. Seeing how France had failed miserably in banning the printing press, even under the threat of hanging, she realized another solution was needed. Wow, go, Mary, go. No, bad Mary. Well, here's where it gets good. One that involved the printing industry in a way that would benefit them as well. She devised a monopoly where the London Printing Guild would get a complete monopoly on all printing in England in exchange for her censors determining what was fit to print beforehand. It was very lucrative. It was a very lucrative monopoly for the Guild, who would be working hard to maintain their monopoly in the favor of the Queen's censors. This merger of the corporate and government powers turned out to be effective in suppressing free speech and political and religious dissent. Hey, man, what do we call that nowadays? Public-private partnership? Wow, she was pretty powerful, huh? Bloody Mary. Well, it keeps going on, telling you that, what she did ended up being called, that was the first time copyright was ever used. And it was used to, censor people. So now we have all these beautiful songs that mean so much to us, and we, go through our lives listening to a particular song depending upon the age you are and the genre you grew up in. I grew up in, let's say, rock and roll and metal and, stuff like that. So the different songs, I can hear a song and that'll just flash me back into the past. I probably owned more copies of Dark Side of the Moon than I can even count because, I came into the era of the cassette tape. And so the cassette tape would wear out and I'd go and buy another one and another one and another one. And the recording industry would sit there and say, yeah, you can copy it. And then they'd, institute things to try to stop you from copying it because, you might be cheating them out of stuff and whatever. But again, music acts as a key to our soul, and it will unlock emotions, and emotions are important. It reminds us of stuff and things. But I wanted to talk about that a little bit more because, I think it's important. Well, we'll get on with it, and we'll start with a little bit of, let's give a brief rundown of what we're going to be talking about today. Let's see. The biggest thing that's going on, I do believe, in the Republic of Texas is the trial of Susie Kamek. Doc Krupa, he left the whole thing. He weighed all of his avenues, and we had him on last week, and he talked a little bit about what he's doing after the trial. And what I was unaware of is that the San Antonio Express, this newspaper, which had been reasonably fair and accurate, was at the pretrial that I missed, and they made an article about him, and it was just not flattering is being way too mild. It was just really out of, tasteless and bad. But really, it was an attack on him and the president of the Republic of Texas, John Jarnicki, because it kind of mixed and matched John's words a little bit and didn't really get the intent of what the communication was. Let's just drop that bit and drop that bit. I went over to the San Antonio Express. You can find the article, by the way, if you go over to, I know you guys don't like Google, but if you go over to Google News and type in the Republic of Texas, you'll see that San Antonio Express hit piece on Dr. David Krupa. Yeah, I don't know if it's a hit piece. I don't know what the heck it is. It's probably better called business as usual. These scenarios play out with traditional broadcast media and print media. It's kind of like, well, how do we twist this? Let's do this and this. And they went over to the pretrial hearing, the one where the prosecutor couldn't even figure out how to call Susie Kamek by name because she had a common law copyright on her name. And what they decided to focus on was John Jarnicki, the president of the Republic of Texas, and Dr. David Krupa's decision to, take care of his patients, not continue, and, a lot of people say, I would have done something different or something like that. Say, whatever, man. You're not in the man's shoes. I know the man has great shoes, and he's a great man. I talked to Susie Kamek. Oh, my God. Susie Kamek last week after I was aware of that article, and I asked her if she saw it, and she told me that she just she felt really bad about it. And she didn't think that it fit the character of Doc at all. And she said that was just, travesty and so forth. And, I asked her to email me something and, try to frame it up, right? I said, what do you think about that? Just throw it down in an email and send it in. Just tell me about Doc. So here it is. Susie sent this to me. It's nothing about the case. So you guys from the legal system that are listening to this show, and we'll get to the court trial here in a little bit, guys, and then you can be interested if you're, whatever attorneys, legal assistants, prosecutors, or whatever form of law enforcement that may be listening. I know that you're out there, guys. But this is a letter from Susie Kamek to me, and I asked her to send this to tell me about Dave, Dr. David Krupa. And she says, Dave and I are good, close friends, and nothing has ever happened or will ever happen that will ever change that. He's a good man, a fantastic father, grandfather, not to mention a hell of a doctor who means so much to myself and my son. He meant a great deal to my mother, my father, in the medicinal field. I say this especially since my dad asked him to help detoxify him after the myriad of prescription drugs he'd been led to complicate his life, his health, and which caused him to lose sight in one eye. Dr. Krupa was instrumental in bringing back Dad's eyesight to the enormous degree and extend his life with quality. Mother never ceased to praise Dave for that. Wow. His thought-filled supplements have curbed Nick's epileptic seizures, and for that, I thank God daily. So she wants to go on and preface that and say, as far as the newspaper article is concerned, I know that Dave feels he made the choice he needed to make, and no one can walk in those shoes but him. Given that Doc's medical license was placed in jeopardy unnecessarily, and his attorney is in very ill health, and it made for a scenario that is unmanageable. None of this negates the fact that a supposed Class A misdemeanor, the actions of those who feel they can intimidate people and will consume vast amounts of public resources while trouncing various unalienable rights as we the people. Take our birthright is unconscionable. This is something that must not be lost in the mix, taken or quoted out of context, nor swept under the carpet. For good people that really care about the rights of others with little or no perspective. Let's see. I'm just botching the end of this, so I'm going to stop. Because, I know what Susie wanted to say, and you got the gist of it. It's damn travesty when we sit there and we're playing all these different fields on the trial of Susie Kamek, and we used to be the trial of Doc and Susie, and you guys might know of it better as the Valentine's Day raid of 2015 on the Republic of Texas. And if you don't, let me see. I can probably summarize it real quick. I'm getting better at it, honestly. Here's how it goes. A long time ago, about 10 years ago, something like that, Susie Kamek was ending her last marriage, and her husband decided to take out a loan without her knowledge and extent or consent. He forged her signature. He took the money. He deposited it in the bank by himself without her signature on the check. This money was, she didn't know anything about it until years later when they came knocking at the door. She said, I didn't borrow any money, and then they're off. Well, the mortgage crisis, when it was in its, big old heyday, they're not answering the main questions, right? Susie didn't sign the documents, and, her ex-husband took off to Italy, so they're not going after him. They can't. And whatever. They don't want to answer that question. They just want the money. Fast forward years later, Susie tries to get recourse by asking Dr. David Krupa to, bring some light to this. And that probably fast forwards us to this document. Let me take a quick look. Susie went ahead and, let's see, if we look at the counts, the initial charges on Susie Kamek, I guess that's what it is. Susie and Doc, actually Doc, not Susie. Doc issued a writ of mandamus ordering Judge Rex Emerson to appear in the International Common Law Court for the Republic of Texas on February. Here's where we get all screwy again. This document claims that, and I'm reading from a legal document that we managed to procure from the corporate state of Texas, actually Kern County. They claim that he was subpoenaed to show up the Republic of Texas on February 14th, but that wasn't true. Well, who cares about the truth? The truth was it was the 23rd of I think it was the 23rd of February. It was the following week. So it wasn't Valentine's Day. It was the next week, so they pulled the gun. Now, it gets me all screwy because, they issued a writ of mandamus and a writ of quo warranto. Now, in the Susie Kamek case, these things are the misdemeanors that she was talking about that she was being charged with. There's another one, and these were issued against the judge, this Judge Rex Emerson, and then there was also a subpoena for William Arnold III, and the subpoena was issued for him because he was the current bank holder, and I guess this note has changed hands many times, and nobody really knows full chain of custody of this, and, mortgage shenanigans again, guys. What really does get me is wording, right? I thought we took words as words, and silly me. I remember Bill Clinton. I remember him as well as you guys do. And we'll talk about this here in a second. Hang on. We'll be right back. You're listening to the Republic of Texas radio show. I'm Steve O'Brien, and whatever.
This is a public announcement. Be ready to copy down a website address at the end of this message. First off, a big thank you to people from Oregon, California, New York, Maine, Connecticut, Saskatchewan, Canada. People are logging on to landho.tv and they are purchasing land in the United States in sunny New Mexico for as low as $350 down and $99 a month. In 1 year, you own the land. These are usable parcels in a development that can only be worth more money in the years to come. Similar lots in the same development have sold for up to $15,000 $1,000. So it really is a no-brainer. Visit landho.tv to purchase yours today via PayPal. Other mainstream investments are good, but they sit in a vault. Land remains a true investment that you can use while it can increase in value. Current land prices are already going up, and this commercial could be pulled at any time, so you must act fast, because when these properties are gone, they're gone. $350 down, $99 a month. Landho.tv. LANDHO.TV. Right now.
Dr. Joel Wallach, author of the famous health lecture, Dead Doctors Don't Lie, presents his newest book, Epigenetics. Epigenetics is required reading for the very survival of Americans, and yes, all of humanity. Modern man has bet on the wrong horse to save them from disease and pestilence. The medical system has failed us fearfully. Join the health revolution. Buy Epigenetics today and receive a free membership to purchase all the products that Dr. Joel Wallach formulated at wholesale prices, and receive a free CD of Dead Doctors Don't Lie. All this for only $25 plus shipping and handling. Call 888-311-4311. That's 888-311-4311. Again, that's just $25 plus shipping and handling. And you'll receive the new book, Epigenetics, a free membership, and a free CD of Dead Doctors Don't Lie. Call 888-311-4311. That's 888-311-4311.
Corporate media dominates the American opinion. Finding independent voices that counter this avalanche is becoming increasingly difficult. With the endless corruption running rampant throughout our government, independent voices are needed more than ever to battle the offensive against our freedoms and liberties. As a listener of OBrien, no one understands this concept better than you. Now it's up to you to do your part. The time has come for you to take action and begin broadcasting the truth to hundreds or thousands of people every month. Sound impossible? Quite the contrary. With pointed slogans from LibertyStickers.com, you can reach countless sleeping Americans unaware that they live in a real-life wonderland. LibertyStickers.com has a huge inventory of political bumper stickers and messages that reflect the truth about our government, our politicians, and the future of America. With so many in stock, there's one perfect for you. Visit us today at LibertyStickers.com. Again, that's LibertyStickers.com. Do your part. Your voice is important. Let it be heard.
Republic of Texas Radio. Hey, so I was going off on Susie Kammick trial and trying to tell you the story about Susie Kammick, and the first thing is what's going on right now today happened last week. All stems from, the root cause was a divorce gone bad, and, forgery and all this stuff. And they sent a writ of mandamus and a quo warranto at a judge and subpoenaed somebody that was acting in the corporate interest of a bank that allegedly held, a mortgage, or I believe that word is death grip, on Susie's property, right? Mortgage, whatever. But the first count, they get the date wrong. Well, is that relevant? No. Okay. Doesn't matter. When the corporate state of Texas and one of its operatives screw up, it's just, man, bummer. Well, whatever, move on. Then in count 3, so 1 and 2, they get the date wrong. In count 3, they say something really silly, right? It says that Susie Kammick, which she didn't do it, recklessly caused to be delivered a William Arnold III, a subpoena that simulated a subpoena. What the heck is that, guys? Come on. There was a cow simulating a cow. No, that just doesn't work. Okay, I know it's the legal system and it's stupid. And, well, it's broken. It's seriously broken. And they can't see it as broken because they were taught it. They live in it, and they see it as flawed, imperfect, but it's what we've got, and we've got to keep doing it. And they've swore an oath or something to it. Maybe they care about it. Maybe it was just about the money. I don't know. What's in a man's heart and soul is a different thing. I know, sitting at the latest pretrial, which was on Thursday, at 1:30 in the afternoon. We had a really hard time hitting that pretrial, and it was probably one of the events that was most heavily weighted in the favor of the prosecution that I've been in so far as we go through. I guess we're on our fourth pretrial now, and it just keeps rolling on and on. We even have another one coming up. But here's how it played out. We all thought it was Friday or Thursday at 9, Friday at 9. And finally, I got a hold of Susie. I said, what time is this thing going to start? And she says, well, it starts at 9. I'm like, oh, my God. And I hopped in my car and I drove as fast. Well, no, I drove the speed limit. That's fast for me, folks. I usually like to drive less than the speed limit because, well, I'm not in a hurry. I'm in Texas. I live in the rural area, and I don't really need to get anywhere any particular time. We have this thing called, I call it the Texas sidestep, and on these little 2-lane roads that have enough room on the shoulder, somebody comes up behind you, and you just let them pass. Let them pass, wave, hey, they want to go. Bye, guys. And it's great. It's very friendly. You guys should try it, but I'm told they made that illegal. So that friendliness of the roads, well, okay. So anyways, I almost made it to Kerrville for the 9 o'clock showing, and, well, Susie and I found out that the trial was set for 1:30, that it had been changed. Maybe we got that wrong, maybe we didn't. There was a lot of confusion about last week's, pre-trial. Finally, after going back to Fredericksburg and just chilling around, doing a little bit of work, headed back up to Kerrville and got there, and Paul Anderson, who I haven't talked about before, was there again. And Paul Anderson is, I don't know what he is. He's a knowledgeable man that, he talks about stuff I don't really know too much about, and I know a little bit about it. But he talks a lot about, I guess the correct word is agreements. Right? So agreements with the corporate United States of America and how we are put into agreements with it, how we, you guys know what I'm talking about. Normally it's called like free man on the land and stuff like that. Well, he talks a lot about that kind of stuff, and I'm not saying it. He talks about it or teaches it or advises or he practices law or anything like that. I'd say that, he could point out some things that are fairly interesting, and we'll continue that thought here in a minute. We're popping over to the other side. We have a long segment, 1-800-313-9443. Call in if you want.
You are tuned in to the Republic Broadcasting Network. Visit our website by going to republicbroadcasting.org.
Recent events have shown just how vulnerable we are to deadly viruses, bacteria, and fungus. These diseases are all caused by infectious pathogens that often get the upper hand on conventional medical treatments. Now more than ever, there's a great need for a product that will help protect us. Look no further. Supernatural Silver can provide immune system support to help fight off these deadly pathogens. Supernatural Silver is a new and vastly improved type of silver solution that's safe and extremely effective against 143 types of bacteria, both forms of viruses, mold, and yeast. Supernatural Silver can be taken orally or used topically and can be used in a nebulizer or vaporizer for inhalation. With over 180 scientific studies by independent universities, hospitals, and research institutions, Supernatural Silver is a powerful weapon against disease. Go to supernaturalsilver.com and use the promo code SILVER2014 for 20% off your entire order. Give you and your loved ones a fighting chance with Supernatural Silver.
There are many water filters to choose from, but there is only one system that is consistently customer rated 5 stars as the #1 system for effective filtration of fluoride, radiation, drug residues, heavy metals, a wide range of radioisotopes, and more. Introducing the Pure Effect Ultra, the next generation water filter that also raises alkaline pH, improves antioxidant potential, and has advanced anti-radiation technology, all while using no electricity. Sold worldwide, it provides virtually instant clean water on demand. It is not made in China, and the shipping is free to all 50 states. Buy your Pure Effect Ultra today by visiting pureeffectfilters.com or call 888-891-4821. Again, that's 888-891-4821 or visit pureeffectfilters.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
Extendovite really works. Here is what people are saying.
Oh, I had a problem with breathing. When I stopped to do some walking, I had a problem. I had a heart attack, my second one. I take this pill and I feel great.
I had 3 bypass 10 years ago, and I was in bed almost 24 hours a day, and painkillers out of this world. I started taking this. I'm down to almost no painkillers at all, and it helped my circulation 100%. My medical doctor, and I went to see him, and he could not believe it. There's no way he could have went down that fast. He could not believe it. I showed him what I was taking. He said, don't stop taking it. I wouldn't do without it. It's unbelievable.
To get your Extendovite, call 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
Dr. Joel Wallach, author of the famous health lecture Dead Doctors Don't Lie, presents his newest book, Epigenetics. Epigenetics is required reading for the very survival of Americans, and yes, all of humanity. Modern man has bet on the wrong horse to save them from disease and pestilence. The medical system has failed us fearfully. Join the health revolution. Buy Epigenetics today and receive a free membership to purchase all the products that Dr. Joel Wallach formulated at wholesale prices and receive a free CD of Dead Doctors Don't Lie. All this for only $25 plus shipping and handling. Call 888-311-4311. That's 888-311-4311. Again, that's just $25 plus shipping and handling. And you'll receive the new book, Epigenetics, a free membership, and a free CD of Dead Doctors Don't Lie. Call 888-311-4311. That's 888-311-4311.
I was just thinking about it. It's an honor to actually have met and know Dr. David Krupa and Susie Kamek, people that'll stand up and fight for what they believe in or try to take care of people. Those are the kind of people I like. You're listening to the Republic of Texas radio show. I'm Steve OBrien, and I'll get through this but we're going to have to deal with the Susie Kamek trial for quite a few weeks, folks, but we'll talk about where we're going next here in a second. And I was just talking to you about getting over to Kerrville, what was it, last Thursday. It was a 1:30 trial appointment, and I pulled in there, and I walk into the courtroom, and this gentleman opens the door for me. It was very courteous. It was really nice. Love Texas for that, man. That really means something when somebody opens a door for you. It's not really submissively, but just, hey, come on, here, I'll open the door for you. I opened the second door for him. That's great. Well, this gentleman sat down next to Paul Andrews and started talking to him. And Paul and him had a short, dialogue about some letters that Paul had been sending out. Now, I guess Paul was issuing a notice of an intent to lien against all the what are they called? Well, all the people that work for the state that are involved in this case. And from what Paul had told me, that it basically, if we're to sum it up, said that they can either leave their office or a lien would be put against them. And I'm probably botching this, so you can't quote me on it. I'll quote whatever. So a lien would eventually be put against them if they didn't leave the office. But, there's a lot of different stuff. And all those judges and sheriffs and whatnot don't like to have letters saying anything negative towards them. So they kind of like tack that onto new charges, right? And in fact, when they got there, Paul Andrews was sitting there with a piece of paper in his hand, and he showed me this piece of paper while we were sitting in the courtroom, and it had additional charges that they had racked on top of Susie, and they had included Paul Andrews in these charges, and they were going after him for allegedly, what did they say that he did? He put a lien on him, but he didn't put a lien on him, and they couldn't actually come to terms with a lien is a lien, and a lien is not a notice of a lien, and this and that and this and that. Bill Clinton again. What's your definition of is, man? What is your definition of is? Crazy little world, statutory law. Hey, doesn't mean a damn thing. Okay, whatever. 1-800-313. I'm going to finish this thing. I'd like to hear from you guys at some point during the show. I'm going to get into a little bit of Texas Nationals news after I finish the Susie Kamek trial. I should be able to wrap that up in another 5 minutes or so. But I will also get into some Freedom Texas stuff, what's coming up with them. And then we're going to go on and play around with the United Nations, because we need to talk about that. We do need to talk about the United Nations and the Republic of Texas going out and saying, hey, UN, we exist, and we want to be free. I know we have problems with that, and I want to explore what problems we have it. Art Off the Grid put my word, he used my words exactly of my thoughts on that, at least the first time I heard that, but, I'll explain that a little bit more in a few minutes. I want to finish the trial. So we're in Kerrville. We're doing the Susie Kamek, and it's just the Susie Kamek trial right now, and it's really a pre-trial. And, her lawyer is, had problems accessing the computer file, doesn't have a lot of time. Doc's old lawyer seems to have taken health issues, and that workload's transferred over to her workload, and now she's not have enough time. She's buried in paperwork, and the state comes up, and I'll tell you what, folks, the beginning of that show, the prosecutor looked like any other prosecutor, all, vigor and just excited, right? It's quite a change from the position that he had previously, which was, sweating everywhere, shaking, and nervous. Well, this time he was really pretty calm up until he handed over some evidence to the prosecutor or the defense attorney of one of the witnesses, and I'm not going to get into that little bit. And then at that point, he started shaking, and you saw, man, when he handed that DVD-ROM and piece of paper over to the defense attorney, there was enough wind coming off that paper to, fan East Africa. It was just insane, right? And I go, whoa, there's the nervous Nelly I'm used to. Okay. We ended up setting another date for another pretrial because the defense attorney didn't have enough time to look over the evidence. And I went after the evidence, right? We went over to Kerrville, Texas, and let's see. That didn't go so well. First, I'll tell you the story about what happened in court. Okay, so they have this thing, and it's a reset. We will be rejoining the case on October night. Oh, no. It will be... This is all a bunch of crap. Who knows? Looks like it's October 26th for a pretrial. No, it says 9th. Man... These guys and their paper forms. You go over to a court and you try to get forms. They charge you $9 for 4 sheets of paper. Then they point you to a website and say, hey, go over here, click over here. That's really neat, the idea of public records. And, well, that's a shenanigan of the state again. You can go over there and request any document that you wish, and you can get it with a fine or a fee. You know, that's not fair. You know, we got, 6 pages for $9. They threw in a free receipt. You know, that's great. Love them, government. They must make a lot of money. A lot of money. But you got to pay somebody to pay something. But they did send us to their website. Hey, go over to our website. You can see the documents all for yourself. So I went over there this morning to try to pull the documents that I wanted to see. And, comes to find out that you can't actually see them. If you actually click on one of them, it says your user is unable to access this document. So it doesn't matter what you do. You know, you're pretty much screwed. You're not going to actually see it. The only thing that I could glean from there is it really looks like Susie Kamek back on September the 9th sent out 13 subpoenas to a number of people. You can tell that. And those 13 subpoenas cost $13 each for a total of, $229 with a $10 transaction fee and a $50 transaction fee. That's great. It's kind of like being a small guy going up against somebody with infinite funds. You know how many people had a salary in that courtroom? Okay, I'm done. I'm done with this for the moment. But we'll be rejoining that in October. We'll go to the last pretrial and on to I'm going to have to go with my memory. The actual trial will be in November. It will not be in October, and I don't care what this document said. That all had changed, and, they give you documents as far as you might as well use them as toilet paper, folks, I swear. So I'm going to move on. Here we go. Where do you want to go next? Yeah, let's talk Texas Nationals. Well, no, let's stop. Let's talk the lay of the land. So, who is the Republic of Texas anyways? Well, it really depends on how you perceive things. The first president of the Republic of Texas was this guy named David Burnett. Now, he was only an interim president. The second one was Sam Houston. Then it went this Mirabeau B. Lamar. Sam Houston, second term. Yeah, go Sam. And then everybody's favorite president, actually he's not, Anson Jones. And this is the guy that threw Texas into the United States somehow, without asking permission or not. Well, he didn't do it lawfully, legally, whatever. Go ahead and argue that. 1-800-313-9443 if you want to. The Republic of Texas remained dormant. The 10th Congress never did reconvene. Anson Jones just said, you guys don't come to work. They didn't come to work. Well, it was somewhere around 1990. 1997. I always get that date wrong. When a guy named Richard McLaren kind of came across this idea, and there was a lot of freedom and independence, or at least a lot of people thinking about freedom and independence in the 90s. The government was starting to ramp up and get even more tyrannical than it had been in the past. And so Richard McLaren said, look, man, we can restart the Republic of Texas. So you could argue that an interim president was Richard McLaren. And I'd probably try to argue that, and I'd probably, win the argument. But whatever. So Richard McLaren, but then everything went kind of south and cattywampus, and the Republic of Texas folks had to actually issue a warrant because of his shenanigans. The corporate United States of America came in, big shootout, bang, bang, bang. Everybody thinks the Republic of Texas is crazy, right? There was several different Republics of Texases that existed in the early 2000s, and one included Daniel Miller of the Texas National. professionals. No, you could definitely consider him as a former president of the Republic of Texas, and I would argue that fact again, be it an interim president, but I do believe he belongs in there. There may be some other ones I'm not too sure of. But the Republic of Texas moves along, and here we come up to 2007. Actually, it's 2005, right? 2005, we start with the next president, and that would be Larry Hughes. Now, Larry Hughes was the first, elected president after Anson Jones. The other ones were interim presidents, which would have meant that, he wasn't elected by and for the people. Now, Larry Hughes, there was an actual seated body and, representatives, and there was an election, and he was elected president. I was told that one of the reasons he was elected president is because nobody else wanted the job except for Sally Jarnicki, President John Jarnicki's wife. And, the Constitution was inadequate at the time. So one of the first points of business in 2005 for the Republic of Texas was to, scrub the Constitution and remove some of the things like women can't be president, and let's get rid of the slave stuff, and let's get rid of a bunch of different stuff. That all was amended. The Republic of Texas Constitution in 2007. It's a 2-year process to amend the Constitution if you follow the Constitution, which the Republic of Texas intends to do at every turn. And they've done a good job from what I can see. So Larry Hughes was the next president after Anson Jones, if we're just talking elected presidents, followed by Jerry Lahr. Now, Jerry Lahr only served about 6 months of his presidency because, the corporate state of the United States came in and, I like to say kidnapped him, but they had a beef or something or other. I knew the story a little bit, but whatever. They took him away, and that left his vice president, Richard Perkins, in charge. Richard Perkins ended up finishing out Jerry Lahr's term, and so he did 2-3 years, 2.5 years. Each president does only 3 years. He did 2.5 years, and then he ran for office on his own ticket, and so he came for a total of 5 years. Well, where we sit today, the president of the Republic of Texas is John Jarnicki. He's 2 years into his 5-year term, and this will be his last Congress. We're currently at the 20th Congress. The 10th Congress was, reassembled back there in 2005, and yada, yada, what forth. So that's the first group, and we'll get back to this here in a minute because let's see, do we have time for Chris? Sure. Hey, Chris in Las Vegas, what are you up to? Sorry I didn't call you this week. You were on my mind, though.
Well, not a problem, Steve, and it's always great to hear you on the news channel from Texas to let us know what's happening in the hopeful Republic of Texas.
Okay, thank you.
I don't have a lot of knowledge of what's going on between the history that you're talking about because that's all when I was away from there. However, to your court experience, I do have some insights that I think you might be interested in.
I thought you would.
Well, I've been doing this court watching thing quite a few different locations and different states, and I've observed some tendencies that I think really require some paying attention to. And in particular, you observed the really polite individual. Now, you didn't expound on what capacity he was portraying there or perhaps acting in to open the door for you, and then proceeded to ask some questions through one of the potential suspects or unindicted co-conspirators, as it were, that turned out to be an indicted co-conspirator, Paul Andrews, I think you suggested later on.
That's correct, Well, I guess I did make that mistake, obviously, because the individual who I didn't know who it was at first turned it out to be the sheriff of Kerr County. And he was, So there you go. But people are nice out here in Texas, so I'm used to people opening the doors and smiling and being courteous.
Well, yes, common courtesy is a wonderful, we'll call it a habit or a custom to observe that most of us in America were schooled in when we were young. If we had parents that cared about us, that had enough to care about us to teach us manners, common courtesy, respect for elders, and other American traditions that we hold high and dear. Mm-hmm. However, there are those in the legal trade and the law enforcement community that have learned to use those, what they perceive as weaknesses, against us and to prey upon our lack of experience in their legal tendencies to adopt different disguises, roles, and perhaps acting roles.
Sure, and demeanor is important, right? Attitude and demeanor. Hey, we'll pick this up, and when we get back, I got Chris in Chris out of Las Vegas, or outside of Las Vegas. Well, that's Chris. Hang on, guys. We'll be right back.
Your money. What is it worth today? A $100 bill in 1913 is worth only $2 today. So now your money is just about worthless, and the Fed will continue printing more and more of it. But what if you could turn it around, $1 at a time, and make your money worth more than it is now? How? By acquiring gold before your paper money is totally worthless. But how can you afford gold at today's prices? By buying it 1 gram at a time. And this is so important because gold is the future. For as little as $65, you can begin trading your almost worthless currency for something real, something you can hold. Carat bars, which keep their value, can be stored securely, and are easily accessible, just like a savings account. But a savings account backed by your gold. Carat Bars International, a savings account you can count on. For more information, please click on the Carat Bars banner ad at republicbroadcasting.org. Again, that's the Carat Bars banner ad at republicbroadcasting.org. And start saving now.
Herbal Healer Spring Sale. 500 parts per million colloidal silver. All sizes. COQ10 with hawthorn. Glucosamine chondroitin. Sea cucumber. Colloidal minerals. Superfam and Super Male Plaques. Colon Enhancer. Our top-selling liquid. Cal Mag Vitamin D. MSM Sulfur Capsules. And Elderberry Power Capsules. We also offer certificate correspondence courses in natural medicine. Free memberships and free online newsletters also available at herbalhealer.com. Herbal Healer has been serving the natural medicine industry for 25 years. This is a company you can count on. Visit herbalhealer.com today. herbalhealer.com. That's herbalhealer.com.
Hi, my name is David Merlin from takefromcaesar.us. Income is defined in the tax code. All property is a cost, including labor, according to statute. You're deprived of the provisions of Section 83 whenever you pay an income tax on your compensation. According to Section 83, only the excess over the amount paid is gross income. The government can't so much as provide an interpretation of Section 83 of its own. Get your paradigm shift and understanding today at takefromcaesar.us.
There are many water filters to choose from, but there's only one, Pure Effect Ultra. It features advanced anti-radiation technology and is constantly rated 5 stars as the #1 system for reduction of fluoride, drug and chemtrail residues, heavy metals, and more. It raises alkaline pH, improves antioxidant potential, and provides virtually instant clean water on demand, all while using no electricity. Want to learn more? Visit PureEffectFilters.com. That's PureEffectFilters.com.
Okay, well, this is the top of the hour, short little segment. I got Chris out of Las Vegas, or he's just Chris. But we were just talking about demeanor and part of the Susie Kamek trial and trial watching in general. And I was trying to make a point that demeanor is everything and how people present themselves. And I was wondering, Chris, because I've been watching this case the entire time, and I'm watching this prosecuting attorney act not like a normal one, right? Very confident and, stead forward. Instead, his body language is all screwy. And just about a week ago, I said, is he really nervous or is he just a good actor? Because I think you alluded to that, people taking on different personas. And I'm not sure. Maybe he's a great actor. I'm used to that.
Well, not having any first-party confident knowledge, I can't diagnose what his indications of let's call it uneasiness or stress might be, although the number of spectators to document the fraud of the court, the conspiracies, and the actual criminal actions that they normally indulge in on a daily basis against the least sophisticated of we the people, the sheeple, some say, really suggests that he's outside his normal element and a little concerned about having all those eyes, the sunshine, sterilizing truth for all the witnesses to what's going on there might put him ill at ease. And some of those papers that you suggested filing, like maybe bills of exchange or common law liens and that sort of thing, might actually have some effect or force in law as opposed to their legal world that they're used to operating in when they have absolute immunity from prosecution. But more importantly, to the point I was trying to make, is that in many different venues that I've watched in, I've observed they send out what we might call spiders or bots or drones or trolls. They're, let's call them sensors, to put their finger on the pulse, to listen to conversations, perhaps record them. Remember, these buildings you are in are not public buildings. They're really private, for private profits, foreign corporate-owned and controlled, full command and control, I remind you, court systems. They're posed as public, but in their twisted way of thinking, public is really private. They just give the illusion of being public. Right. And that way it maintains the facade or the false presentment that they actually care about you and the people they drag into their schemes of court. And so we must recall when we're in these buildings that they are not friendly places. You're in the enemy camp, their territory, under their full command and control. And they likely have surreptitious recording, video surveillance, and perhaps individuals that come around and may look like little old ladies or well-coiffed and dressed young men or women, or maybe attractive women, that place themselves strategically around the locations to listen, to see what people are saying or perhaps plotting in their twisted way of thinking, because most people never, of course, they make you go through metal detectors and empty your pockets and take off your shoes and your belt, thanks to the false flag of Richard Reed, the shoe bomber. Years and years ago, we all have to do that sort of nonsense now, like it has any bearing on what's really happening. But,
hey, let's finish this on the other side, and then I'm going to get on with some news and start, tearing apart the United Nations, or maybe we'll prop it up. I don't know.
Ooh, I know about the UN, too. You bet.
Oh, I know you do. Well, hang in there.
Hello everyone, James Edwards here. Are you sick and tired of liberals and race hustlers and the media calling you a racist just because you oppose Obama's policies? Well, my friend, those days are over. After you read Racism Schmacism, you'll never again fear being called the R word. I invite you to discover why every conservative in America needs a copy of my explosive new book. Racism Schmacism has received much critical acclaim and will equip you with the key to unlock their socio-political nuclear bomb once and for all. Order your copy today by visiting the official website of the Political Cesspool radio program, thepoliticalcesspool.org. Proceeds of each sale go to help keeping our award-winning show on the air, and they make great gifts for your conservative friend or family member. Buy Racism Schmacism today at www.thepoliticalcesspool.org.
You're listening to the Republic Broadcasting Network, because you can handle the truth.
And I'm going to kind of like cut the music a little bit short today because I do that when I don't have enough time. You're listening to the Republic of Texas radio, so I got Chris on the line, and we were just talking about, you know, the trial of Susie Kamek, and, well, just pretty much all trials, the venues, you know, these alleged public venues that aren't really public. They're kind of private, and we could go on and on and on and on and talk about that. I'd like to say one more thing, Chris. The sheriff, as he was having his dialogue with Paul Andrews, had a smartphone in his chest pocket. The beautiful camera was just pointed straight at Paul, and I'm pretty sure Paul's smart enough to know that he was being recorded. Now, we will find out soon enough because, you know, that will come up on trial too. You know, we'll see that whole event, but I do think that everything's being recorded at all times, so I'm pretty much safe with that. I watch my words, and I love to hear what all these clerks and these things are saying behind me, because they stack themselves all over the place, and they're not, well, maybe they're, like you said, spiders, right? They're out to elicit a response. And, you know, for one part, I had a couple, you know, what I call old chickens. You know, they pulled in behind me, and then they sat there and they started pecking, going, buck, 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 buck. And you could tell they were for the prosecutor because they just kept going, I can't believe that. Yeah. I'm kind of like, who the hell are you to sit in the back of the courtroom making fun of people? You don't know anything about this. And I almost fell for that, but I just held my breath, and I just said, well, they just don't get it, man. They don't get it.
Well, that's actually a tactical trick that they use in court to throw the people off and to distract, obfuscate, so you can't hear what's going on, to try to put a spin on it. I've had them actually place actors in a case ahead of me before to give me the act to show me how we're supposed to portray when we go before the court. Now, I did eventually prevail in that case and beat the Zone Nazis in Yavapai County, Sedona, Arizona, in that case on multiple different levels, including private grants of land made patent, international law of treaties, and constitutional diversity of citizenship. However, you were talking about the UN, and but before we leave this court thing, remember that everybody in the court may be undercover operatives, agents of the court, undercover investigators. I think that was you said that was a sheriff that was so nice to you that sat by and was interrogating Paul without his knowledge surreptitiously.
Oh, Paul had knowledge of being interrogated.
Good for him. Being astute is a fail-safe that we must all be aware at all times of our surroundings and not perceive others other than what they are, that they're likely the enemy. In fact, it's said that if you're talking to three people, one of them is likely a federal agent.
Yeah, I'm not too sure about all that stuff. I don't know how much they know about me. And when I show up, I know my city council knows who I am. I'm not too sure how much the court knows about me. They've subpoenaed two other broadcasters, and they haven't subpoenaed me for, the actual trial. Well, we haven't got there yet, but I don't know anything, so that's great. But I'm observing. Why would you subpoena an observer? Hey, I'm going to let you go for a minute there, Chris. call back in when I get to the United Nations, because I want to hear your thoughts on the Republic of Texas's angle at trying to get freedom from the United Nations. What's wrong with that idea? What's right about it? But I want to cover the rest of the Texas independence news because there's stuff going on out there. Chris is gone. Well, okay, good. Well, good, not good. I want to hear what he has to say. I want to hear what you guys have to say after I get into the Republic of Texas and the international angle. I'll take callers, 1-800-313-9443. Tell me they're insane. Tell me it's a good idea. Tell me whatever you think. That's what it's there for. The Republic of Texas is a reassembled government in the Texas. We live in an occupied land. The corporate United States of America runs the land, and they subjugate us all to their laws and their rules. And, well, they're kind of mean, and they can be pretty nasty, and they can drag us all over the place, and they put us in jail, and whatever you know about that. The Republic of Texas next meeting will be, Saturday at 9:30 a.m., October the 2nd. Now, we're going down south again on this one, folks. This is going to be at Lake Jackson, Texas. Typical of the Republic of Texas. They're trying to prove me wrong, and it's no longer 4 hours from Fredericksburg, Texas. I'm told it's going to be like 5.5, 6 hours. Wow. That's going to be a hell of a day. That's coming up 9:30 a.m., Saturday, October the 10th. In Lake Jackson Civic Center. You can get this information at thetexasrepublic.com. And I don't really know too much more that I need to cover with them at this time. But I do need to cover that. Let's see. Well, Texas Nationals. They have 72 days left to get 75,000 votes. Now, the Texas National is a little bit different than the Republic of Texas. Actually, it's completely different. The Texas National Movement, they are working to bring, freedom through petitioning the government for secession or just to leave the United States. I don't know their actual technical verbiage and how they intend to do this, but they're trying to get it on the ballot for next year, and they have 72 days, 14 hours, 56 minutes, and, a handful of seconds to do this. They had a lot of stuff going on yesterday, and they have some upcoming events. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different places where you can sign that petition. They're all kind of on the east, far north side. There's a few of them down in the Houston area. You're going to have to go to textnet.org to see a list of all these things. It really doesn't have a list per se, more like a little Google map with a little dot on it, and so I'm not going to spend a whole bunch of time addressing that. But, hey, you go, guys. I don't know that I support that view either. I don't think the system will let you out of the system. Say, Mr. Master, sir, can I please leave? Who said that last week? I think that was probably Art again. Yeah, that's a good one, Art. I don't think that's going to happen either. But the thing is, you have to look at things as primary and secondary results. The primary results is they're out there in the field talking to people saying that Texas should be free. They're getting them to actually act on that and saying, here, put your name down. Now, that's an action that reinforces what's inside you. So it's good. So it's primary action. I don't think they're going to achieve their primary goal. Their primary goal, what is their primary goal? Their primary goal was to get it onto the ballot. Or is their primary goal to get it onto the ballot and get it voted on and have Texas leave the United States? I'm not too sure what they set their primary goal as. I believe that it's to get it onto the ballot. Now, a few weeks ago, Freedom Texas, I forget who actually told me this. It was an off the air conversation. He says it's too soon. If this goes on to the ballot, it's doomed to fail, just like Scotland. And, well, he may or may not be right. I don't know anything about that. All I know is I kind of shoot for more of secondary results than primary results. A lot of people are worried about, trying to get the results. And that's kind of hard, but you can see your secondary or tertiary results of your actions. These guys are set to do an awful lot to bring about Texas independence, but they're not going to see it. They're just putting hooks all over the place. Maybe they're going to get onto the map. Maybe they're going to get it onto a vote. That's all great. But what kind of government do the Texas Nationals want? I don't know yet. We're going to find out eventually. There's some comments in there doing the Texas National City Petition Signing Day where they say, what are the words that you want to get on the ballot because they're important? And that is important. There's other people saying, well, what's your count? Well, that's kind of a funny one, right? What is your count, and who's telling you the count, and what's the chain of custody? The other week I do, on occasion, bump into Alex Jones on the radio, and so I'll listen to him from time to time, and I've never met Alex Jones. I just bumped into him on the radio, and he was talking about his big old money blast coming up with $740,000 or some crap like that. I say I don't think that's a bad word, but I won't do it again. But it's like, wow, okay, so you're going to extend it because you need a full $1 million, and I'm going to believe that you got 740. Are you an honorable man? Is your yes? I don't know. I really don't know anything about that. But I'm supposed to believe that he got $740,000, but needed the full $1 million to get up on C-band. And he has another wild, crazy scheme, and it's going to save the world. Meanwhile, Republic Broadcasting is well, they hit another dang brick wall last week with more bills being due, and John Statmiller once again had to come on the radio and say, folks, here we go. And, well, I don't know if we're out of the woods here yet, but if you have a business and something that you need heard, Republic Broadcasting is an important place to get your message out. Advertisers are desperately needed, good advertisers, and there's a great listening base here at Republic Broadcasting. John Statmiller can also use, your money. John Statmiller is probably more responsible for secondary and tertiary results of change throughout the United States of America. He doesn't enjoy any of the benefits of the primary results, right? Like, let's say Alex Jones, who gets money just thrown at him hand and fist. At least that's what we're told. So, but John Statmiller is very instrumental in raising a lot of people's awareness, including myself. I didn't find Republic Broadcasting until I moved into Texas, and then I started hearing his programming, and, well, yeah, you guys, John Statmiller has a lot of great hosts, and he's done a lot to affect change in the world, and I'd like to see Republic Broadcasting continue on. That's pretty much all I'm saying, and it's not a pledge drive or anything like that, but it is important, folks, that we do take care of John Statmiller and Republic Broadcasting. He changes the world. And now I'm going to get back to we were doing the Texas Nationals, and we kind of done them, right? Their votes going on in 72 days. We're going to know a little bit more how they succeeded. Was it like Alex Jones? Did he succeed? Do we care? I don't know. Moving on. Let's see. We need to go to Freedom, Texas. I know they have something big coming up, and I thought it was this month. Freedom, Texas is a group that really doesn't have a charter similar to the Republic of Texas or the Texas Nationals. Freedom Texas themselves are kind of more about building awareness and having people come together and take action and, trying to get the Republic restored. They're a bunch of good guys. They're probably one of the fastest growing groups in the Texas independence movement. And this week they have a meeting coming up in Plano on the 21st and in Mineral Wells on the 22nd and the 24th. They're going to be in Bridgeport. So, go over to freedomtexas.org and you could take a look at that. You should go meet them, see what they're up to. I don't know, only if you care about freedom in Texas and, maybe you like the corporate U.S. I have to do. I'm in the fallback position, folks. I'm in the fallback. I love the concept of the Republic of the United States, but I also understand they don't operate like that. This is a corporate United States of America, and most of the people in the United States of America are clueless as to what that means. They don't have a clue. So in a fallback position, I'm kind of sitting here in Texas going, well, maybe we can do this. And I see all these other people that are doing it. There's George in Texas. He's an individual, and he came to this conclusion on his own, and he's acting on his own. How many other individuals like George out there are, making a change? He's just an inspiration. I know I'm sitting there doing whatever I can do, but we've got to make a change. And I don't know if we can restore the United States of America. I believe restoring Texas to a republic may be a more achievable goal. That's why I covered this beat. That's why I'm focusing my energy that direction. But there's secondary and tertiary results to this goal. I get to talk about, ethics and responsibility, how we should behave and we shouldn't behave, and this and that and this. And it affects my relationships in town. People, I got a radio show, talk about Texas independence, tell them about Freedom Texas, tell them about Republic of Texas, talk about the Texas Nationals, talk about how important it is for family and life, and it's wonderful. And if you guys ain't talking out there, you got to start trying, because we need more ripples in the pond, and we need more people talking. I get all sorts of people saying I'm talking all the time and I'm not getting results. Well, you're not getting primary results. How many times has a friend come back to you and said, well, hey, I just heard about this and this and this, and then you go, well, I told you about that 3 months ago. Well, that was you wanting that primary result from what you got as a secondary result. Okay, let's do this. What kind of time do we have? I think I have enough time to bounce into the international thing and just let's do it. So I've been talking for a while, and I go all over the place as far as being a broadcaster. Once listening to RBN, I kind of took up the habit of actually talking. And before, I've done podcasts and YouTube streams and all that other stuff. And one of my earlier guests was this guy named John Marlar. And John Marlar traveled all around Texas talking about this thing called Agenda 21. And so he would spend his dime and drive everywhere, talk to everyone. He talked to more Tea Partiers, more little Republican groups, and he was very instrumental, and it worked really good. I'm going to play a little clip from a while back, and Sam, if you would, please. So, hey guys, we're here with John Marlar once again, and we decided that we're going to hold off on part 2, at least for a couple days right now, and we wanted to talk about some of the phone calls and emails John's had been dealing with lately. Thought he's got some great questions. Hey John, how you doing?
Doing well, Steve. Looking forward to going over this. I have been impressed with the response from your listening audience. I had no idea that you had, rarely on Blog Talks do you get more than 2 or 3 inquiries, and because I guess it's YouTube and people are looking for this now, it's been kind of interesting. I've enjoyed the emails, and I've enjoyed the conversations that we've had and so forth. It's kind of fun.
Yeah, okay. I like to try to focus Let's ramp that down, Sam. That's a show that I did called John Marler's Email. And at the time I was broadcasting, I was wanting to cover Agenda 21. We had this lady in town. Her name was Nancy Battle, and she got up in front of my city council and told them, you ever hear about Agenda 21? And then she went ahead and took her speaking time, said Agenda 21, New World Order. She went through the whole spiel. And, of course, they gave her a blank look. Well, I recorded that whole thing, threw that out there, and, it got really popular as a podcast and, it was kind of interesting. And then I finally met Nancy Battle. But I got introduced to John Marler at that time. Now, I'd been studying Agenda 21, and I understand that. Now, do you understand Agenda 21? Because that's probably one of the kickers when we're talking about, God, what is it? The Republic of Texas trying to use the international thing. Hey, I see I got Chris back on, and music starts in 2 minutes, and that was a couple minutes ago. That must mean the music's starting right about now. Hey, Chris, are you there? Oh. I'm bad. Chris is not on the line. But I'll be back.
Recent events have shown just how vulnerable we are to deadly viruses, bacteria, and fungus. These diseases are all caused by infectious pathogens that often get the upper hand on conventional medical treatments. Now more than ever, there's a great need for a product that will help protect us. Look no further. Supernatural Silver can provide immune system support to help fight off these deadly pathogens. Supernatural Silver is a new and vastly improved type of silver solution that's safe and extremely effective against 143 types of bacteria, both forms of viruses, mold, and yeast. Supernatural Silver can be taken orally or used topically and can be used in a nebulizer or vaporizer for inhalation. With over 180 scientific studies by independent universities, hospitals, and research institutions, Supernatural Silver is a powerful weapon against disease. Go to supernaturalsilver.com and use the promo code SILVER2014 for 20% off your entire order. Give you and your loved ones a fighting chance with Supernatural Silver.
There are many water filters to choose from, but there is only one system that is consistently customer rated 5 stars as the #1 system for effective filtration of fluoride, radiation, drug residues, heavy metals, a wide range of radioisotopes, and more. Introducing the Pure Effect Ultra, the next generation water filter that also raises alkaline pH, improves antioxidant potential, and has advanced anti-radiation technology, all while using no electricity. Sold worldwide, it provides virtually instant clean water on demand. It is not made in China, and the shipping is free to all 50 states. Buy your Pure Effect Ultra today by visiting pureeffectfilters.com. or call 888-891-4821. Again, that's 888-891-4821. Or visit pureeffectfilters.com.
Hi, my name is David Merlin from takefromcaesar.us. Income is defined in the tax code. All property is a cost, including labor, according to statute. You're deprived of the provisions of Section 83 whenever you pay an income tax on your compensation. According to Section 83, only the excess over the amount paid is gross income. The government can't so much as provide an interpretation of Section 83 of its own. Get your paradigm shift and understanding today at takefromcaesar.us.
Nice shooting. Hey, that's a sweet AK-47 chest rig. Is that multicam?
Yep, got it from StrikeHardGear.com.
Strike what?
StrikeHardGear.com.
Set your sights on StrikeHardGear.com. Tough, tactical gear for your Soviet-style weapon that's made in the USA. Affordable, plus a no-questions-asked 30-day money-back guarantee and lifetime replacement warranty. StrikeHardGear.com. Go ahead. Pull the trigger.
Okay. Here we go again. Well, I was right. Now I'm wrong. We do have Chris back on the line, but I won't say one thing real quick. Before I was right. Oh, yeah, you're listening to the Republic of Texas radio show. I'm Steve OBrien, and I just played a clip of mine from 2012, I believe it was, and it was a clip by a guy named John Marler, an Agenda 21, well, expert, right? Studied all the documents. You can go ahead, search on him, right? You can call him, talk to him. He's a great guy. But I'm not naive when it comes to Agenda 21 and the United Nations. I do see that. I know its history. I know the Republic of Texas is playing with the United Nations, being instigating a dialogue and using them to fulfill their needs. And maybe they'll be successful, maybe they won't. Some people think one thing, some people think another. John Marler's point in that whole thing, at least on the opening clip, was he was surprised at how many people actually responded to him. That's because I usually fish in different waters than everybody else. So when I'm talking to you out there in, republicbroadcasting.org, you're not necessarily my primary target. My primary target is the law enforcement folks that are listening right now, the people that are from the courts in Kerrville, the attorneys, as they go through the whatever, all those guys, they're a primary target. So when we're talking about United Nations, there's different angles. You may see the United Nations as a wonderful thing, and it's a good thing, and it's an assemblage of countries around the world that are trying to do good things. Yet there's another angle to it. There's a document out there called Agenda 21, and we can tell you a whole bunch more. You don't want to hear it. It's a place to put hooks. Your friends will tell you about it, too, and hopefully you guys will open your eyes. Hey, Chris, are you there?
Well, yes, as a matter of fact, I am.
Good. Hey, what are your thoughts on the Republic of Texas using the United Nations or pleading to the United Nations to, well, I don't know if it was pleading, but, they were communicating that the United States has been bad to Texas and they want out?
Well, this is something I've had some experience with, and if we cede the authority to foreign powers to approve or disapprove, then basically we've given up subject matter jurisdiction and allowing them to rule over our lives. Although there is a case to be made for noticing or giving a form of a proclamation to powers of the world and the powers of, we'll call them world sovereign nations, of our intents to separate from their collectivists and to assert our own sovereignty. That's the ability to self-rule. That's what the word term actually means. But if we don't know the meaning of our words and we use them improprietously, we risk having others twist our words to use them as weapons of war against us to destroy us. And that may be what we are unintentionally doing when we seek approval of foreign bodies to stamp their seal of approval on our actions of self-determination.
Mm-hmm. Right. I don't know if you've got a chance to look at the verbiage on thetexasrepublic.com, their letter to the United Nations. It's all crafted with wordsmithages and stuff like that. And I understand. Whenever I talk to those guys, I get pretty much the same response you give me. That word means this. It's great. And I don't understand that a lot of the time. But so when they're playing with these guys, do you see the United Nations as a body of individuals looking out for the good of all of mankind?
Absolutely not. They are, in fact, a political cult, if you will, or some would call them a religious cult, although the moniker could be a religion in some people's minds. Mm-hmm. But when you look at who runs the UN, it's truly the collective bankster gangster cults of the East. The UN is the IMF, the World Bank, Basel, Switzerland. They're trying to contrive a new ruse to confuse called the International Criminal Court, which is the supreme 33rd degree international council of commission czars who are a secret body of foreign men actors, probably not with American interest at heart, that serve our interest for sure, who would then be ruling from far away. And we all know, as Jefferson and many of the other founders counseled us, local rules best, as opposed
We'll be
to
right
faraway
back, folks. Remember what Chris said. Local rules best. Coming right back.
You are tuned in to the Republic Broadcasting Network. Visit our website by going to republicbroadcasting.org.
This is a public announcement. Be ready to copy down a website address at the end of this message. Here's your chance to own land in our great nation for as little as $350 down and $99 a month. At the end of a year, you own it. This is your chance to own a piece of New Mexico in the foothills of a beautiful mountain range that's a national park, yet a short drive to town, a perfect place to camp or own as an emergency retreat for your family for generations. $350 down, $99 a month. Go to landho.tv now. Similar sized parcels in the same development have sold for up to $15,000, some even more. Folks, we bought this land right and can pass the savings on to you. Purchase online via PayPal at landho.tv. Other listeners have already visited and purchased from our website, so we know there's a keen interest. Don't let this be a missed opportunity for you. Land that's yours in less than a year for an incredible $350 down and $99 a month. Inventory is getting seriously scarce, so visit our website today. Land in sunny New Mexico for $350 down and $99 a month. Landho.tv. LANDHO.tv.
Has your dancing and romancing done gone away? Are you moaning and a-groaning from the stresses of the day? Are you reeling and appealing because a headache's on the way? Well, relax for just a moment. Stress relief is on the way. Of what am I speaking, you ask? The essential oils of long historic use, the wisdom of the ages, the health care of the ancients, frankincense, myrrh, hyssop, and hundreds of others too numerous to mention. What could be more appealing? Do you know that Young Living Essential Oils has an element of life that makes them extremely effective in body rejuvenation? This element is called vibration, and it works with body systems, not against them. The professionals at Divine Living Oils have tested and been so impressed with this product that we are using them to help others. And who are we? We are health professionals with many years' experience. Trust us, we have seen the good, the bad, and the ugly. Our motto? Because we care about you. Do your health and spirit a great favor. Call us at 304-542-4226. That's 304-542-4226. Again, that's 304-542-4226.
There are many water filters to choose from, but there's only one, Pure Effect Ultra. It features advanced anti-radiation technology and is constantly rated 5 stars as the #1 system for reduction of fluoride, drug and chemtrail residues, heavy metals, and more. It raises alkaline pH, improves antioxidant potential, and provides virtually instant clean water on demand, all while using no electricity. Want to learn more? Visit PureEffectFilters.com. That's PureEffectFilters.com.
Come to Finca Baiano, a small community in Panama, which is being established for people who believe that a future crisis may be difficult to survive in North America after a collapse of the system. Go to bugoutpanama.com for more information. There is limited space for 100 people only. Go to bugoutpanama.com to immigrate as long as you can. Prepare. Don't despair at bugoutpanama.com.
Dr. Joel Wallach, author of the famous health lecture Dead Doctors Don't Lie, presents his newest book, Epigenetics. Epigenetics is required reading for the very survival of Americans, and yes, all of humanity. Modern man has bet on the wrong horse to save them from disease and pestilence. The medical system has failed us fearfully. Join the health revolution. Buy Epigenetics today and receive a free membership to purchase all the products that Dr. Joel Wallach formulated at wholesale prices and receive a free CD of Dead Doctors Don't Lie. All this for only $25 plus shipping and handling. Call 888-311-4311. That's 888-311-4311. Again, that's just $25 plus shipping and handling. And you'll receive the new book, Epigenetics, a free membership, and a free CD of Dead Doctors Don't Lie. Call 888-311-4311. That's 888-311-4311.
The thought, I guess, of the whole world taking care of each other, right? Now, all of us people coming together and we'd like to buy the world a Coke or whatever. That's a great thought. The reality is the governments around the world are picking fights with everybody, instilling fear into their populations and such. I got Chris. Oh, you're listening to the Republic of Texas Radio. I'm Steve O'Brien, and I got Chris on the line. And I'm going to ask Chris some questions here. Hey, Chris, Incorporated United States of America, do you understand about that?
Oh, absolutely, far too well.
Okay, answer me this. Do you know where it's incorporated? I know.
Let's see. We could go to Seed & Company. We could go to the Vatican. We could go to the UN, World Bank in Basel, Switzerland, or many other locations. In fact, there probably are secret, let's call them depository banking interests around the world where the titles to lands and the different agencies that are privately owned are held in trust for private benefits, not the benefit of we the people.
Right. So, because where I'm going is kind of like, okay, so depends where you call the United States of America incorporated. Depends what kind of jurisdiction it's under. So a lot of people say, I've heard that the gold stripes in the courtroom is all about, well, admiralty law. I've heard that argument, and I've heard the gold stripes is corporate law. I don't know what's going on. I'm just Steve. But, you know, Ronald McDonald has that book. It's called...
They own it all, including you.
By Means of Toxic Currency. And that seems to be the crux of everything. It's like we're all corporatized. We're all straw men or actors acting as these individuals. So why not go after... freedom and independence from an international angle, right? If we're all corporations, we're all subjects of international law instead of using statutory law, which is a fiction of the corporate United States, not applicable in the global world. Isn't that a better vector than using statutory law to get independence?
Well, some would profess that, but I would be very suspicious of their motivations. Let me first suggest that there are two frequently contributing investigative journalists on your station on the Republic Broadcasting Network. That's Deborah Tavares at StopTheCrime.net. She has a monstrous amassing of documentary testimony evidence that supports these different evil plans of the global cabal. Also, Ingrid Castle and Al Whitney at the Anti-Corruption Society. They do have some duplicitous things between them, things that are copied, if you will, in both locations. But profoundly, if we go back to 1961, prior to Kennedy's assassination, there were two documents that were put forth that are very operative on this global plan to take over the world. They are State Department Bulletin Pamphlet Number 7277, something like Freedom from War and a Peaceful Society. I forget what the flowery name is, and it has an ugly, evil twin sister called United States Code 2358.
Okay, hold on, Chris. Hold on, Chris. Let me preface that and stop any people's eyes from glossing over. If you're law enforcement or in the legal profession and you're now thinking conspiracy and so forth, Chris is going to repeat exactly what he just said. These are legal documents. These are actual government documents. So, please, Chris, can you repeat those?
Sure, don't believe me. Go out and do your own due diligence and investigate and see if it's not exactly as I say it is, because I assure you that it is. But State Department Bulletin Pamphlet Number 7277 and 10 United States Code 2358, both from 1961. 10 United States Code 2358 is the Strom Thurmond, former Grand Dragon of the Ku Klux Klan, Strom Thurmond National Defense Authorization Act of 1961. The progenitor to the Patriot Act, Kill a Patriot Act, and the UN Agenda 21
came out.
It's just so diabolical. It's hard to fathom for most people.
I know, and a lot of people think that people aren't going to be mean and nefarious and have a global takeover type understanding or reality, but we are being slowly taken over. I mean, we can look at our local planning departments, and this is an area I like to touch on a lot. You know, your planning department has international building codes in them. We have people in that are kind of on the fringes of every city here in the United States of America, and they're called planners, right? And
Central
most
planning.
of them,
Central planners.
Yeah, and a lot of them are trained by this group called the APA, or the American Planning Association. And if you look at the APA's charter and their direction, they actually focus on the same directions that this document we always refer to as Agenda 21. Now, again, lawyers, cops, whatever, please look at Agenda 21. I know you're not going to read it because it's like over 1,000 pages long. But it attacks many different things in many different professions. And, well, it's eventually going to, they do want to re-implement it. And I believe they pushed it forward to like 2052 or something like that. But they want to keep us all off the roads. They don't want us to drive. And yeah, okay. They didn't really say that. Well, you can't read 1,000 pages either. I know people that have. I made it about 700 pages in, and I just went, too much. It gets scary. It's hard to read.
Steve, that's okay. If you're reading challenges, don't worry. You're going to love it. We'll vote on it first, and then we'll read it afterwards, and then you'll learn to love it.
Oh God, Chris, no.
Well, it's now you got to be updated though. It's now Future Earth or Future World as opposed to Agenda 21. They keep changing the name, so because people have become alert to Agenda 21, it's become kind of a bad taste, and it's associations with the reduction of 2/3 of the world's population is posted on the Georgia Guidestone. The whole thing.
But then that's all conspiracy theory. The Georgia Guidestones is just something from
conspiracy fact.
Well, it is a fact that that R.C. Christian's name is on the bottom of the Georgia Guidestones, and it is there. But denial is just everywhere. But we're dealing with the facts. So the Republic of Texas is sending letters to the United Nations saying that their right to self-determination has been hampered by the corporate United States of America, and there's each time that they send a letter, they're increasing the amount of grievances that they have. Allegedly, that this is a strategy that they're using to actually force the United Nations, who may be the controller. I mean, we're all told, the general population, Chris, they're told that the United States is in control of the United Nations, right? They're saying that, we're on the head, right? We fund them and we do all this, and we're the best in the world. We're the U.S. Yeah, go America. But in reality, something else is steering the United States, and it's hard to show people that fact. And I don't know how you can do it except for the way that I'm doing it right now. I've got a few people that are listening to the show that have no idea what we're talking about. And that's good.
Well, I suppose one could make the case that is good. But if you look, the International Law of Nations comes from Vattel and his Law of Nations. And basically, under the Law of Nations, each individual has the right to self-determine. That's what the word sovereign means: self-reign, self-rule, self-regulate, self-determine. In fact, nobody is really sovereign if you really believe in the Creator, and that we have a duty to serve a higher power and to have His law written on our hearts and in our minds. And then we have a responsibility to higher powers as opposed to the corrupt nature of mere men. In fact, there was a treatise written by Frederick Bastiat called The Law, which speaks to the nature of man being twisted and perverse and looking to live off the fruits of the labor of his fellow man as long as it doesn't become too painful, and then he'll seek other means of sustenance.
Yeah, I've done a little Bastia myself. Hey, one of those things that the sheriff of Kirk County found particularly fascinating, or at least he pretended to not understand, the concept of a free man. And Paul attempted a little bit to tell him that, do you have a driver's license? Are you all caps? What was he trying to convey, do you think? If you were to guess, I think that Paul was talking about straw man and how you're not. Can you talk to that at all, Chris?
Well, some suggest that the all caps fictitious pseudo nom de guerre or corporate trade nom de guerre, named for war, that they commit war against us. The only place that you can find that supported in law is on a death certificate. And that's where they put in the all-caps name, which indicates that the person or the body is not longer living, therefore a dead corporate fictitious entity. And corporations are a more ready means of full, total control and domination of people because you only have corporate policies, charters, statutes, codes, and regulations to control the corporation. Whereas free men, their rights come from the Creator. Some of their rights are enumerated as further limiting rights of the federal government over what they can do to the states, but the states traditionally, habitually violate the rights of the people that live within. And so anytime you have a government of men, they, or women as the case may be, not to be indiscriminate, they certainly have the proclivity and propensity, being predisposed to do what they think is right for the best interest of the public safety and the public good. And then they extort money from people to put their vision of what is most beneficial for us all into play. Now, never mind that some of us may not think that contrary. Their vision agrees with ours. Go ahead.
Yeah, they think contrary. So correct me if I got this wrong. Okay, so if I was born in Texas, then I would be born and I would become a sub-entity of the corporate state of Texas who's under the corporate United States of America. And I know you don't know the definitive this or that or whatever, but from what I understand, and there we go, stand under, whatever. This is kind of how it works, it's, and they create a fiction, and this fiction is traded. And, you can find the corporate state of Texas is an openly traded company. And then my worth as if I were born in Texas, would be valued. Now, I would be a free person known as Stephen Thomas O'Brien, and they'd create a fiction called Stephen Thomas O'Brien. Now, this cat that keeps jumping up in my lap is totally off topic and annoying, so I'll put it down. Now, trying to get back to that, the Constitution covers the Stephen Thomas O'Brien that is a free man. But somehow you get enrolled in an agreement based on, this world we live around us. And I started acting as Stephen Thomas O'Brien, the corporation, and I knew no better. I didn't know I was a free man, and I kept going into agreements, and an agreement this direction. Am I somewhere near the target? Is that what's going on?
You're kind of close, actually. Whenever your birth, they create a certificate of live birth, a bill of lading, a shipping document, because you have now been delivered as freight on arrival in free waters, in international waters, in fact, because all hospitals are international waters. But they create a corporate fictitious name for you. Then, without your knowledge, they ask your mother if she knows who the father is, implying that she's a loose woman, and she's listed as the informant on the birth certificate. That's the person who gives evidence of a crime. And so it's really complex, and it's devised to be complex so that mere mortals can't figure it out. It's such an insidious, devious plan. But more importantly, that birth certificate allows him to sell it to world banking cartels for projection to ensure on the future output of the human resources, the human capital, that's then monetized and securitized on your lifetime output as a human resource. And then they put it in these secret trust funds and yada yada. But what's really important is in the world of contracts, when you sign your name, there are always conditions to the contract, which in a true contract would be open and transparently revealed. But in other contracts, which are unconscionable, unlawful contracts, there are secret tacit operations of law that imply in the background there could be secret investors, there could be secret entities that are interested in that contract that are not fully disclosed transparently, and therefore you couldn't confidently enter into a contract where there were secret terms and conditions that you had not knowledge of, so it would be null, void, and nugatory, therefore fraud in fact and ab initio on inception.
Right, but then nobody understands that, and that's one of the problems.
Well, when you go to the public pool schools to be indoctrinated and programmed rather than actually taught and educated and taught anything of material value, then you're at a devised disadvantage.
So herein lies the rub. So we have Susie Kamek that understands, well, what you just said. We have Paul Andrews who understands what you just said. I understand what you just said. I can't re-articulate it. We have the sheriff of Kerr County. He hasn't had a clue with what you said. That was all blah, 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 and probably a little bit laughable. The judge over, at the trial, he doesn't understand well, maybe he does. And that's another kicker, right? Because he's used to mental convolutions. The prosecuting attorney, does he understand that? Can he understand that? I don't know. I remember one time a friend of mine, he explained the New World Order to to somebody that didn't get it. And she said, why? And it was just very matter of fact. Bam, by the numbers. He wasn't looking to try to convert her or do anything like that. And, well, we'll be right back. Hang on, folks. That is the music.
Extendivite really works. Here is what people are saying.
Oh, I had a problem with breathing. When I stopped to do some walking, I had a problem. I had a heart attack, my second one. I take this pill and I feel great.
I had 3 bypass 10 years ago, and I was in bed almost 24 hours a day, and painkillers out of this world. I started taking this. I'm down to almost no painkillers at all, and it helped my circulation 100%. My medical doctor, and I went to see him, and he could not believe it. There's no way he could have went down that fast. He could not believe it. I showed him what I was taking. He said, don't stop taking it. I wouldn't do without it. It's unbelievable.
To get your Extendivite, call 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
Dr. Joel Wallach, author of the famous health lecture Dead Doctors Don't Lie, presents his newest book, Epigenetics. Epigenetics is required reading for the very survival of Americans, and yes, all of humanity. Modern man has bet on the wrong horse to save them from disease and pestilence. The medical system has failed us fearfully. Join the health revolution. Buy Epigenetics today and receive a free membership to purchase all the products that Dr. Joel Wallach formulated at wholesale prices and receive a free CD of Dead Doctors Don't Lie. All this for only $25 plus shipping and handling. Call 888-311-4311. That's 888-311-4311. Again, that's just $25 plus shipping and handling. And you'll receive the new book, Epigenetics, a free membership, and a free CD of Dead Doctors Don't Lie. Call 888-311-4311. That's 888-311-4311.
This is a public announcement. Be ready to copy down a website address at the end of this message. First off, a big thank you to people from Oregon, California, New York, Maine, Connecticut, Saskatchewan, Canada. People are logging on to landho.tv and they are purchasing land in the United States in sunny New Mexico for as low as $350 down and $99 a month. In 1 year, you own the land. These are usable parcels in a development that can only be worth more money in the years to come. Similar lots in the same development have sold for up to $15,000. So it really is a no-brainer. Visit landho.tv to purchase yours today via PayPal. Other mainstream investments are good, but they sit in a vault. Land remains a true investment that you can use while it can increase in value. Current land prices are already going up, and this commercial could be pulled at any time, so you must act fast, because when these properties are gone, they're gone. $350 down, $99 a month. Landho.tv. LANDHO.TV. Right now.
So, Chris told me that the hospital implied my mother was a loose woman. That's pretty crazy. Well, you're listening to the Republic of Texas radio show, and everything isn't the way it seems, folks, and we're trying to explore this, and we're trying to come to terms with this whole discussion between Paul Andrews and the sheriff of Kerr County, where they were explaining the concept of a straw man and you not being who you are. And so we'll keep that on target for now. But so we're all somehow, because we're born in a hospital and they assign us a number, and through that whole process we become, what did you say, assured, or you become on the books as a piece of property? How did you say that again?
Well, you're basically created to capitalize or monetize your name. In fact, your family name, the one that you claim, I think you said is Brien is your last name. That's
OBrien.
Not your name. It's your family name. OBrien, my apologies. That's not your name. That's your family or your tribal name. And we're really not supposed to be able to use that one because we're not able to stain it or taint it or bring shame upon it, dishonor it. And so we really should be Steve's middle name, house of, or family of, tribe of.
Oh, okay. I see where you're coming from. I'd be like Steve Thomas of the House O'Brien.
Well, correct. And see, that would be your nom de plume, or your flowery name, versus your corporate trade nom de guerre, or commercial trade name, that they use to trade on you. In fact, the word commerce has M-E-R-C in it, as does merchant, mercenary. And when you understand that the law of the sea merchant, the sea mercenary, disguised as a merchant who plunders, robs, rapes, villages, is the pirate's code, the pirate's law, that is the law of the sea, is really what operates.
Oh God! Hey, have we come to any terms? Is what the Republic of Texas trying to do got any merit? What's going to happen there? What about the Texas Nationals? Them trying to get it on the ballot? Is that just another pissing in the wind?